Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jahlial, and today I wanted to leave this reflection linked with the aspects that are participating of the next full moon in Taurus with Venus in Libra. I talked about them in that video, but well, they are going to be perfected on November 2nd, both of them, the opposition that Venus does with Chiron retrograde in Aries and the square with Jupiter in Cancer. So this is the T square, the cardinal T square that the Sun in Libra did 2 weeks ago. And right now is Venus, the planet that is related with our desires, with the dynamics through which we are relating to other people. Venus in Libra is also linked with choices, the investment of energy that we can do in what we feel that has value for us, and the discernment of the things that are not aligned with that, whether these are relationships, forms in which we want to create our desires, or generating resources. So all of these topics are linked with Venus, and these tensions are putting, in evidence, known ways in which we establish perhaps dynamics with life, but that are preventing us from truly expand ourselves. Jupiter in Cancer is in Cancer, and Cancer is the sign of the moon. And in astrology, the moon is the symbol of what we require emotionally, forms of care and protection that we can give to ourselves and that we can offer to our people. It is our language of emotional expression, but also the mechanisms, the regressive patterns that we know, and that they are, remitting us to this illusory protection, preventing us from developing maturity and from expressing talents and potentials that are part of that energy with which we are incarnating, which is the moon. So a moon in Capricorn could isolate himself or herself and not asking for help in a moment that, it is really required to extend this regressive pattern of early maturity, because, people that have moon in Capricorn has this tendency to be adults when they are actually children, to assume responsibilities that they are not corresponding to them. But that is going to prevent the person from developing maturity and expressing in a responsible way his or her emotional needs. And when the moon in Capricorn is integrated, then the person can develop the talents, being express this great capacity to sustain structures, leadership, and assuming great responsibilities. A moon in Cancer, which is the opposite sign, could be could stay like they're reminding things of the past, or staying in spaces that are very known, or pretending that other people can treat her or his as the mother did. That other people can understand their emotional world and can nourish them as the mother did, or they are going to act like the mother, with quotation marks. It doesn't matter if we are talking about men or women, with other people. But that is going to create barriers, to create relationships that can be more adult and independent, where precisely needs and dependencies are not the basis only. But when the person can integrate his or her own emotional needs and allow other people to grow in their processes, it is a moon that can offer a great nutrition for others, that can accompany emotional processes with great empathy, but without turning into a child, other adults. Obviously, the aspects of the moon are going to have a great importance if you have them in your natal chart. And I am making very short descriptions of how the energies can be expressed. But what I'm trying to say, it is that we all incarnate with a moon, but not for all of us are going to be expressed in the same way. For example, a moon in Aquarius could detach and disappear as a mechanism of protection, and a moon in Scorpio is going to control or manipulate, as the mechanism. And when situations in our relationships or other areas of life are, proposing a certain level of conflict and the need of generating changes that are pushing us to move to something that we don't know, the primary mechanism emerges in a very automatical, in an automatical form, unless at least, at less, that we are turning us aware and we can do a different choice. So these tensions are showing us imbalances that we have to readjust, dynamics in relationships or agreements that are not evolutionary anymore, choices of paths that are facing us with keep chasing for the valorization. I don't know if I'm inventing words today, but it could be valorization outside, the appreciation, or being oneself, the one that is recognizing our own value by understanding what we truly need right now and not what we can do that we need, what we can say to us that we need from this mechanism of illusory protection. Because when what leads us to stay in certain spaces is dependency. This means the seeking of other, covering up a void that cannot be fulfilled by anything external. The frustration and the anger are going to emerge and also could be projected, and we could be more reactive. But beyond that, the external is going to reflect the demandings or the actions that we are taking from these places that can be also selfish. The thing is that when we are not managing our pain and we seek for ways of escaping to that, we could have very selfish behaviors with other people. We could use other people as a form of escapism or allowing other people to causing a damage to us, which is a form of selfishness towards ourselves. And of course, this is not something conscious for many people. We all go through these dynamics, and this is the axis of many of the collective distortions too. That's why it is very important to illuminate and to transform. For example, if I am offering help to other person because it is experimenting, he is or she is experimenting a process, and then I become angry because the person is not taking the decisions that from my perspective are the ones that are leading her or his to the growth, beyond if the perspective is right or not. If there is anger, we have to reevaluate if the offer, if the help that we are offering, it is not done from a place where I am doing that because I don't want to feel alone, or because I see something in that person that I would like to change in me, but it is easier to focus in that person, or perhaps I want to be needed because that is the way that I was taught that love should be. Because if those things are not there, we are able to respect other people's processes, and what we can do too is to decide to not sustain anymore a relationship where the person is in denial of his or her growing, because that could start to create obstacles for our own process. So it is a recognition of when we are really wanting to generate connection with other person, or we just want to spend time to not deal with things that are causing discomfort inside. It is a discernment when it is good to explain and to communicate, even if that implies to be vulnerable, or when we are over explaining something because of fear of reaction to the other person. But also we have to take care, to watch out the silence, because if we are expressing that we don't want to talk because we are, dysregulated in our emotions, or if we are communicating that we don't want to sustain contact anymore, it is quite valid, of course. But silence used as a punishment or for the other person to guess that something is causing causing discomfort inside, for me, is manipulation. This is more linked, manipulations are more linked with Pluto, but Venus is also activating the square. So when love is purifying, this is a choice of the parties. It is not something that we are forcing, controlling, or demanding. And when we are talking, when I talk about love, I am not referring only to romantic love, because many people only associate that with that. But it is a choice all the time of wanting to stay, of giving a space, of feeding that relationship, of observing our own imbalances and the imbalances that the other person could show to me. of taking active responsibility of changing something when it isn't working. And if I did my part and I changed something and the other person, it is not giving a response because the other person don't have tools or capacity to see it, it is also my own choice to not tolerate, to not allow others trespassing my healthy boundaries. And at times it is only about being honest when when the distance of growth in certain relationships are too big. Not because there is a person that is better and there is one that is inferior or superior. It is because that we can generate a stagnation to other person or vice versa, and desiring mutual growth is a very elevated form of love. So I'm going to finish this video here today. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.